Hey everybody, this is Scott Roth. It is September 29th. I'm here in Louis Armstrong Airport in New Orleans. I'm just getting ready to leave to head over to Orlando this evening to watch their training camp. But I want to give you a quick update on where we're at. I just got done traveling into New Orleans on the 27th and spent the last 3 days with the Hornets in their training camp here in New Orleans. Had a great time. Byron Scott and Jeff Bauer treated me wonderfully. Got to see a very good camp with some very, very good players. They just have a dynamic group of guys with Chris Paul, who's probably a future All-Star for the next 10 years, David West, Tyson Chandler, and then they added what I think is going to be a key addition to them this year is James Posey. He really influenced their play the last 3 days. He was very good defensively, and everyone was raving about him, just his overall impression of how he took the floor every day. It was really nice to see a different version of a different training camp. I've heard a lot about Byron's camps and how strenuous they are, and for sure they practice for 3.5 hours. Most NBA teams will divide up their time between a morning session and an evening session, but Byron really likes going for the 3.5 hour stretch and getting it done in one day. And during that time, they really work those guys out hard between line drills, suicides, quite a bit of conditioning, a thing called the easy run, which I'm going to try to incorporate maybe a little bit in Bakersfield. But I took away a great deal of information, things that's going to help during the course of the year with my team. And also, I got to see a few free agents who possibly might be back in our league. Jared Jordan, who played here, is a kid that possibly might come back into the NBDL pool, along with Courtney Sims, who played for Iowa last year, who they have their rights to, and he played very well also. Overall, it was a great 3 days. The New Orleans Saints played in town, so it was a busy weekend down on Bourbon Street. It's just a great environment down here. The Saints won, and the city gets a buzz every time that the Superdome's full and that team wins. And the Hornets have sold out most of their games already this year. They sold, I think, over 12,000 season tickets in their building, so they're ecstatic about moving into the next year. Once again, I got to spend some time with Byron Scott, especially today before I left. Had a chance to meet with him in his office and ask him some basketball questions and just familiarize myself with some of his philosophies, and we talked basketball, which was great. He's a class guy, great demeanor with the players. You can see why they play hard for him. Really approaches the game the right way, but he still has that sternness and strictness that is needed to be successful, especially in the NBA. The other big thing that jumped out at me with this team is how close they are. They're a very close team. A lot of fun during the course of the practices. Guys are just busting chops and having fun during the practice, but also a very competitive group for being so young across the board. This team has a great future over the next 5 or 6 years, could really, really make a run for a championship if their nucleus is able to stay healthy and stay together. Jeff Bauer, the GM here, has done a wonderful job of putting the team together. And then, obviously Byron Scott last year with Coach of the Year, and having a couple All-Stars and Tyson Chandler and David West and Chris Paul to build around for the next few years is quite a strong team in the West. I'll be heading tonight over to Orlando and spend 3 or 4 days there. I'll give you an update once I get to Orlando and watch their training camp. I'm excited to see a few friends of mine there. I coached Hito Turkoglu in the Turkish national team a few years back, and very good friends with him. And so I'm interested to see another version of a different camp, another coach's philosophy, and see how he runs his camps. It's also going to be fun to be around Stan, because obviously his brother Jeff are very well respected in the NBA and are also known to have great camps. So looking forward to getting there. We're also announcing today that we had a chance to kind of finish up our podcast as far as tweaking it and making sure it's working right. And hopefully the fans will enjoy this over the next couple weeks as we move into the season. Also, you can respond to any questions you have during the course of the podcast, and I'll try to get them answered during a podcast. I'll probably pick out 2 or 3 during the week, to where you can email me at sroth@bakersfieldjam.com. That's sroth, R-O-T-H, at bakersfieldjam.com. sroth@bakersfieldjam.com. So I look forward to answering maybe a few questions you might have as the season rolls on. We're also going to be doing a few interviews with some people as we move on, some players, maybe some coaches during the course of the season. So we'll try to make it a variety of different things that hopefully you'll find interesting. Once again, we're here at Louis Armstrong Airport, getting ready to head to Orlando for our next stop on our training camp adventures, and look forward to talking to you next week with the Orlando training camp and how that all went. Once again, I'd like to say thanks to the Hornets, Jeff Bauer and Brian Scott. Hope they have a great year, and it was fun being around them and watching their team play. Thanks.